It's partly my dad's fault. I grew up hearing live country music in my living room, and I hated it. When I was 15, I stole one of Dad's guitars, and I sequestered myself in my room, and I learned every chord in a Mel Bay songbook. I started learning the simple folk songs that I'd sung in Girl Scouts, and then I moved on to what Dad calls hippie music, like Joni Mitchell and Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. After high school, I played bars and coffee houses. I discovered folk music and women's music and the used record store. I used to immerse myself in the dusty bins of LPs where I'd find great artists like Steve Goodman and Bonnie Raitt. I played at parties and weddings with a flute player, and I learned a lot about stage presence. I especially learned a lot about how much people could drink at weddings. I had a lot of day jobs. I worked as a purchasing agent for a steel fabricator. I cleaned banks for a little while until I was fired for not getting the toilets clean enough. And I worked for 5 years at a record distributor. I really loved that job. In the 1980s, I started writing my own songs, and I played them out, and when people didn't throw stuff, I thought, hey, I like this. In 1987, I really wanted to go to the Michigan Women's Music Festival, but I was a full-time student, and I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. So my friend Marty and I decided to pretend we were big-time booking agents, and we booked ourselves enough gigs to get to and from the festival. And then the next year we did the same thing, only then we went to the National Women's Music Festival in Illinois. And those 2 events really empowered me as a woman musician. It was fabulous. At the end of 1988, with my sensible business degree in hand, my girlfriend Dakota said, well, now don't you want to do music full-time? And, remembering those drunken weddings, I said, no. But then when she offered to support me for a little while, I said, all right. And I turned down a job offer as a paralegal, and I did my first album, Closer to Home. I had no idea what I was doing, but then I figured if I could pretend to be a booking agent, then I could pretend to be a recording artist. I've been touring full-time since 1990, collecting tiny motel soaps. I've played in every state and several countries. I've been through 3 pickup trucks, 2 guitars, and several cases of M&Ms. I released 8 albums and played in hundreds of venues, from women's music festivals to colleges. And the songs, I'm still writing like crazy, from bluegrass-inspired tunes like Hurricane, to serious folk ballads like Beautiful, to weird pop tunes about cats taking over the world. And the song you're hearing now, Drive All Night, has been played twice by Car Talk. I don't have the heart to tell him it's not about driving. I wrote a country song about my dad, and he cries when he hears it. I love my work. I would rather be on stage than in bed with a good mystery and a box of dark chocolate. And I've written a song about that, about chocolate, not about reading in bed. When I'm not touring, I teach guitar, songwriting, and belly dance. Not at the same time. I'm also a freelance writer. I twirl the baton badly, and I can wiggle my eyeballs. Probably more than you needed to know. In the old folks' home, I'll be sitting in the lobby with my guitar, pouncing on innocent passersby and asking them if they want to hear my new song. Either that, or I'm going to be the crazy lady you read about in the paper who lives in a studio apartment with 30 cats. Please go to my website and listen to some tunes. Book me at your coffee house. Buy a CD. Please don't give me any more cats, but chocolate is always welcome. I may not drive all night to get the gig, but pretty close. I'm grateful that Dad wasn't a jazz drummer. Otherwise, my life would be really different.
Baby, let's drive all night. Surrounded by this highway, we're at the speed of light. Baby, let's drive all night. Drive all night. Drive all night. Drive